Thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir. Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Deputy Prime Ministers, Honourable Leader of Oppositions, Honourable Members of this August House, ladies and gentlemen, those here at the gallery and those listening from their homes. Misambula Vinaka. Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for this opportunity to provide a ministerial statement to this August House today on the recent trip by the members of the iTaukei Institutions Forum to New Zealand. Mr. Speaker, o crea meu taudana nungu whakanunui vinaka, na wanua turanga o na mbuke, kina kena reo kani, e na kena warautaki, na rawangunubi, na turanga na tuilebuka, e na singa ni mataka. Mr. Speaker, I led the delegations from the iTaukei institutions to New Zealand on the 11th to the 18th of February this year. The delegation comprised of the Permanent Secretary for iTaukei Affairs, the CEO of iTaukei Trust Fund, the CEO iTaukei Land Trust Board, the Chairman of iTaukei Land and Fisheries Commission, the Director for Appropriate Technology and Development, the DCO iTaukei Affairs Board, a VKB team from the iTaukei Land Commission, Ifereimi Vasu, was also part of this visit. Mr. Speaker, the travel expenses for the delegation members were sponsored by their respective institutions. Mr. Speaker, the purpose for the visit was to explore the opportunities that would complement the work of iTaukei Executive Forum as mandated by the GCC, particularly on economic empowerment of the iTaukei. The visit was also an opportunity for the Ifereimi Vasu to raise awareness on the Immigration Amendment Act 2023, which allowed those registered in the World Kambula to enter Fiji without a visa or permit. The VKB team also took the opportunity to register names of iTaukei living in those areas visited. Mr. Speaker, the delegations attended or visited the following areas: meeting with the Pacific Trade and Investment Board, the Fiji Trade Commissioners, and the New Zealand Fiji Business Council. The purpose of the meeting was to identify market opportunities in New Zealand for the iTaukei entrepreneurs. Mr. Speaker, we also conduct Talanoa sessions with the Fijian communities in Auckland, Hamilton, Wellington, and Christchurch. Mr. Speaker, a range of diverse topics were discussed, mostly about land and VKB issues. The head of the iTaukei institutions provided clarifications on issues under their respective mandates. Mr. Speaker, the delegations met with the Maori King and had a constructive discussions about partnership for the mutual benefits of the Maori and the iTaukei. The Maori King shared about successful commercial undertaking by the iwi Trust. The iwi Trust prioritized investment over distributing monies to their members. I repeat, the iwi Trust prioritized investment over distributing money to their members. Members only receive benefits such as education scholarship, housing, and health insurance. This model enabled their trust to grow. Their trust operates as a wealth fund with a major portion invested. Mr. Speaker, an outcome of the meeting was an agreement for the signing of an MOU between the GCC and King Tanga. Mr. Speaker, the delegation also visited the Waikato Tanui Tribal Parliament. The delegation learned about the frameworks, strategies, and business plan implemented by the Tanui for their tribes. Mr. Speaker, the delegation then traveled to Rotorua and visited the Pokerua Aroa Water Trust and was briefed on the history of the trust and how they grew their commercial arms. Later, the delegation toured the properties owned by the trust in Rotorua, which include their latest investment venture, the Waiariki Spa. Mr. Speaker, the chair of the trust has been invited to visit Fiji later this year for the iTaukei Resource Owners Forum. Mr. Speaker, the delegation also visited the Te Waranga o Aotearoa Institute, which is one of the most successful training institutions for the indigenous of Aotearoa, the Maori. The delegations visited the institution to learn more about course delivery that would be relevant for Nandawe. The Institute operates a hybrid delivery model that could be useful for Nandawe in the future. We also visited the Toi Aho Mai Institute of Technology. The delegation visited the institution to learn about its forestry program. This was due to the increased interest of our resource owners in forestry sector and their need for capacity building. Mr. Speaker, the iTaukei Land Trust Board, under its Wealth Fund initiative, will dictate a certain percentage for scholarships for this purpose. Mr. Speaker, the delegations also visited the Maori Art and Craft Center to explore how it could help the ministry in further developing the Fiji National Art Gallery, especially on how to generate its own funding through tourism revenue. Commitment to the numerous artists of Fiji. This year, for the first time, the Ministry of iTaukei Affairs allocated a space specifically for them within the newly opened National Art Gallery. Mr. Speaker, the delegations also held bilateral meeting with the Minister for Maori Development to discuss potential areas of collaborations, particularly in commerce. Mr. Speaker, I had raised with my New Zealand counterpart the issue of visa for forestry workers. We had requested if their visa conditions could also include allowing them for further their educations. Honorable Potaka had agreed to raise the request with the New Zealand Immigration Minister. Mr. Speaker, We also held bilateral meeting with Honorable St. Jones, the Minister for Ocean and Fisheries. After being shared the purpose of our visit, Minister Jones stated that he would encourage turners and growers to visit Fiji with a view to connecting with some farmers on export. Honorable Jones agreed with our request for collaborations in fish farming, particularly to help iTaukei fish farmers. He stated that he would advise the Undersecretary for Fisheries to visit Fiji for the iTaukei Resource Forum and visit some potential fishing farming spots. We had also met with Chief Judge Karen Fox and Judge Sharon Reeves of the Maori Land Court and members of the Waitangi Tribunal. The delegations learned about the legislative structure that support and complemented the land courts. A Maori framework for hearing had worked best for the Maori Land Court and has been very successful, and we will explore the possibility of adopting lessons learned into Fiji context. The formal court system recognized the Maori Land Court. Mr. Speaker, we had also met with the Te Ara Witi Aotearoa Office of the Maori Crown Relations. The delegations learned about the department's crucial role as mediator between the Crown and various Maori claimants. After the discussions, the department is open to receiving officials from the Solicitor General's Office and the iTaukei Affairs institutions for attachment. Mr. Speaker, to conclude, the delegations was impressed with the consistency in understanding law and resources available by all related stakeholders that we met. These include the iwis, the iwi trust, accounting firms, government, and subsidiaries. Education was a key component of the strategies implemented by the iwi trust. Those who benefit from scholarship went back to their iwis. The program of work by most trusts was guided by their own indigenous framework, then incorporated their values and practice. Mr. Speaker, the visit was a success. On my return, I have directed the iTaukei institutions to follow up on the undertaking in New Zealand and learning from the visit. The institutions have taken significant steps in the commercial space since return from New Zealand. Mr. Speaker, please allow me to express our deep appreciation to the New Zealand High Commissioner in Fiji, the Fiji High Commissioner in New Zealand, the New Zealand government, and the Maori Institute for their support in making the trip a successful. Pinaka waliu.